Welcome, Tip Top Tabletoppers. Today we are going to dive into the world of the Grey Knights. The Grey Knights are beacons of hope, and they are bastions against demons and evildoers. And today we are going to focus on the combat patrol leader of the Paladins, at least my leader of the Paladins, and I'm going to call him Thalor Ardentis, and he's going to be my champion of the Fourth Brotherhood. Well, as we start off, you can see that I'm using the airbrush. It is a cheap airbrush, and anyone technically can buy this thing. It's not that expensive at all. I've loaded it up with a gray paint and, well, some thinner. Because honestly, that's all you really need. A little bit of gray paint and some thinner. You can also use water if you use acrylics, of course. The gray that I'm using is Vallejo's gray. It's a nice base tone that has a little bit of depth to it, and as you can see over the black primer that I've used, it actually creates a sort of natural highlight already. I'm trying to focus mainly on the parts that actually would get a highlight and use the airbrush to create that. Then I will thin down the gray that I've already got into the airbrush with a little bit of ivory from Vallejo, and, well, start to highlight it up even more. And as you can see, I'm trying to follow the shapes of this beautiful model, getting the roundings up and getting the squares a little bit up as well. Just making sure that I hit the, well, areas that are lighted up ways, because that's where the light would technically hit. And of course, if you're looking at YouTube videos, everybody already told you this, so it's a quick process that I'm going through. I believe as soon as this one is done, I will even do a little bit more highlight with a little bit more of the ivory in it. But that's technically all that is to it, to give a more metallic shine to it, you know? Just create a dark undercoat and then mix it up with a little bit more lighter and lighter, and just try to hit the, well, shapes as mentioned. So the roundings a little bit more round, the squares a little bit more to one side, and the oval shapes just in a line upwards or from left to right, as you can see on the gun barrel. Highlighting and airbrushing and doing it with a brush, it all really doesn't matter. The same principles just continuously matter. I chose to go back with the airbrush after I'd done the highlighting and get a little bit more blue into it. So that means the shadows will have this blue tint to it. It's really a good mixture between blue and gray, and as I'm looking at the video, I'm kind of thinking I should have mixed a little bit more blue into it to get really that contrast in that. And I'm trying to really do that more and more often, you know, to get a highlight with a certain color and then a different color to get into the shadows. I like the aesthetics of that. But here with the Grey Knights, I did a little bit more safety because, well, Grey Knights, they are kind of, well, boring to the armor, you know. It's just silver or just gray if you go to that point. So to add color, it's always cool if you can do so. I might go back afterwards when I completed the complete combat patrol and then go into the dark of the shadows with a little bit more blue again. I'm not quite sure of that yet. But for now, we're just heading up. The second step that I'm doing into the combat patrol is highlighting. So I'm taking out the ribbons and the top of the fingers and the real lines that are pointing upwards. I apologize for the camera work, but it's becoming better and better, if I must say so myself. The color that I'm using is, again, that ivory. I don't really use real white often. I like the ivory of Vallejo, and yeah, it gives some nice effect to it. Definitely has the white in it. And if you want to, you can even highlight it a little bit more with pure white or anything like that. The nice thing of Grey Knights, or at least these models, is that they have some nice flat surfaces. So areas you can actually paint and create something on it. And as you can see while I'm doing with the brush, making sure that it is sharp and the paint is wet enough. I have noticed that paint as it dries totally gets a little bit different in it, and even though you quickly have the idea that paint is too wet, it never really becomes too wet. It dries up nicely, making sure you don't get too thick stains and stuff like that. So better make the paint a little bit too thin than a little bit too thick. If I look at the Grey Knights, there are actually two colors that you can use other than grey. That's going to be white and that's going to be red. And whether you're going to use a orangey red and then power it up with real red, that's up to you, of course. But yeah. Meanwhile, as we are painting, I am thinking about this guy, giving him a name and a status and something. And I've kind of come up with the fact that his name is Paragon Thaler Ardentis. And he's going to be the champion of the Fourth Brotherhood, bearer of the Nemesis sword Verates Rex. His mind is steel and his will be unbreakable. And where demons rise, he is the answer. Not with mercy, but with silence. Forged in the crucible of the warp, anointed by the blood of the flame, he is the Emperor's final word. This is the Grey Knight Paragon, unleashed. I think he should come from the shadows of Titan. Kind of like, yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I'm kind of just, when I'm creating a miniature, I'm always thinking a little bit about what's the story of this guy. Getting colors on there is just half the thing to do. Getting a story, getting a backstory, that's the more fun of it. At least for me, but then again, I am a DM, I play Dungeons and Dragons a lot, and yeah, I just like to really give a story to my creations. Oh yeah, one of the things I really didn't like about these models is the drilling of the gun barrels. I don't like that. No, you need to have a small little drill for it, and that's not the problem. I've got that thing, but I just don't like it, Drilling into the plastic, it doesn't really get to the right point. You don't really get the holes exactly where you want it. It's just something I don't really enjoy doing. I know it looks cooler, but I don't really enjoy it. What's your take on it? Do you guys drill the holes in the gun barrels, or do you guys just leave it flat? I'm guessing most people will actually just drill the whole barrels and be done with it. The shoulder pads, or quadrants as they are called. Well, my wife told me that they are called that. I thought she was bullshitting, but apparently it's actually something they are called. Again, I'm trying to get the white and the red in it, but with all the letters on it, it's a little bit rough. So, yeah, I like the look of it though. So a little bit of non-oily oil and then some little bit more color will probably make a change to that. As you are going into freehanding, as I did here, there are a lot of tools you can use. You can tape off a piece to get a nice straight line, or you can just completely freehand like I did. I like, again, the fact that you are creating something. So something that isn't there, you're creating it with like a line or an insignia or whatever. But yeah, to get that steady hand, to get that good brush control, you definitely learn it from doing this. But as you can see, I kind of messed up too. Man, there you go, spotch a little bit there. It looks okay, but yeah, it could have been a lot better. So a little bit of touching up with the white. That's the good thing when you use colors from the bottle. You can actually just retouch stuff with your paint and the brush that you've got. But I can also understand that people want it right in one thing. You need a certain color and you're mixing colors. But if you're mixing colors, it can be difficult to come back. Like this armor, I did it with the airbrush. If I'm fucking something up with the airbrush area, I have no idea how to get the right mixture back into the airbrush. So yeah, that's kind of a thing that I don't really like about it, So yeah. Here you see that I've actually done the non oil already. I'm going up to the power sword because, the one thing that I love to do is a good power sword. I do like the shoulder pad, or the cauldron as it's called. A power sword, or any sword, if you're making a fire sword, or if you're making an electrical sword, or whatever, start off with a beautiful dark color. I'm using deep sea blue here from Vallejo, the one where Squidmore and Vallejo are working together. And then I mixed a little bit of icy yellow into it, and kind of pulling up the color, making it a little bit lighter from one side to the other. I definitely like to end up at the tip with a little bit more lighting. And as you can see, I really gradiently did it here, getting a little bit lighter every brush stroke I'm going onto. I think that's the real trick to either doing metallics or doing a power sword or something. It is always the gradient of going from one color to the other and doing that in as thin as possible layering, so that the shifting from one color to the other is as minimum as possible. The more you are taught in that, the more disciplined you are in that, the better the look will be. And hard lines, even though they are sometimes needed definitely for real the metallic look or something like that. But you can see that if you have the gradient and you can make the transition as smooth as possible, it usually gives a much more beautiful aesthetic look to it. Well, the miniature has another side, so that means we also need to do that one. And like I said, I'm only going to use two colors technically. I'm going to use the ivory and I'm going to use red. I don't mind using orange because that's technically a red as well. And I don't mind using true white because that's the ivory as well. So that's kind of the color shift that I'm using. Other than, of course, the power sword that has the green in it as well. Again, all these letters are really not working great with the brush, and I feel like it's not as nice as I would have wanted it to. So I'm definitely going to need to do some touching up there. But as you can see, the brush really struggles with that as well. On that note, just a question to you guys out there, if somebody's still looking at this video at this point, what kind of brush are you guys using? So are you guys using a brush from Army Painter, or are you going to use one from Citadel itself? I don't know. I'm using one from the gold line. I am really enjoying the brush. It's not too expensive, but I'm wondering if buying a more expensive brush will actually create better lines or, stuff like that. But I'm just scared if I'm gonna buy a really expensive brush and I'm gonna screw it up, which, well, knowing me, probably will happen. Yeah, I kind of worry about that. As you can see, the model is actually starting to come true. Yeah, I'm kind of starting to become happy with it. So that means we're going to do a little bit more highlighting on the sword with the ice yellow, the hard color at this point, because we need some hard lines. And here's where I kind of think I kind of screwed it a bit. The transition here is a little bit too hard. I mean, it looks okay in the end product. The highlighting is fine, and the basics of a great power sword are definitely here. But I definitely need to learn a lot more about transitioning colors and creating that look, that aesthetic that I really, really want. But hey, it's the first step to power sword, and I'm okay with it. So I'm definitely growing, and as you guys follow the channel, follow the videos that I'm making, you can definitely see that I am growing and I am changing everything. And I really hope that you guys are doing the same. So I always love to see pictures of things that other people are creating. So one of my friends, they paint miniatures as well, and they sent me pictures like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I really love to see that, because it always inspires me to do something different or something more. And I know that color use is not by all means my forte. So yeah. As I'm looking at the back of the sword now, I'm thinking, yeah, it looks okay. Still think that the transition should be smoother, just a little bit. But for the tabletop, this is definitely fine. This is not a display miniature. I'm not gonna win any competitions with it. Not a chance there at all. But for the tabletop, that's where I'm making this one for, because I really would like to have an army, a tabletop ready complete army. And I had a Tyranid army, but I sold most of them. And I kind of, I always love seeing these videos where people have this complete army or this cupboard filled with a certain specific faction and they all match up. I love that. I really do. But I usually don't have the time or the, the concentration to actually make a complete army. That's why I kind of challenge myself with the 7-day Combat Patrol Grey Knight challenge that I'm doing this week. Because I really need to have a Combat Patrol ready and cohesive, and I really want that. It's just something I really want. I know. My wife always says, well, if you really want something, you can definitely do it. But that's not how my mind works. My mind is like, ooh, a butterfly. Ooh, another butterfly. Ooh, a color. And when I'm looking at TikTok, I see so much talented people, or when I'm looking around on YouTube, I see so much talented people that are doing great things with paints. And I'm so jealous of that. I really would love to create a army of cohesive Grey Knights, and then I want to create a army of Space Wolves. And my idea for the Space Wolves is this more cartoon look, the aesthetics of Borderlands, with the thick black lines and such. I really think I'm going to do that after the Grey Knight Combat Patrol. I'm going to go into the Space Wolves Combat Patrol, and I'm going to try and create that cartoon look. I think that looks really awesome too. Yeah, again, looking at the barrels, I still don't like it. It doesn't look as great as I want to. I don't like drilling the barrels. I just don't like it. It's okay, but I just don't like it. Yeah, a little bit of Nuln Oil over all the things that are really deep, like the letters, is really something that I like the look and aesthetics of. Alright, that's how I paint this guy up, Do hit a like, do hit a subscribe if you really wanna. It doesn't cost you guys anything, and it really helps me a lot to get better and to become more and bigger. I'm almost at 100 subs, so as soon as I get there, I'm gonna give away something cool, at least to the people that supported me this far. I wish everybody a great day and enjoy the sun.